okay, when I look back, when I see my former students succeed, I meet a guy driving a big car or a lady engineer, successful from the skills we give them. I just get so much fulfillment when I see that. And I just kind of feel that my life counted for something. And let me tell you, you get a diagnosis that your child most likely has bone cancer. And at that time and point in my life, I did not have a shilling to my name. She lived her life, no matter the cancer. Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow. She lived her life so fully. Can you imagine somebody with one leg and they are playing basketball in school? Mm-hmm. How do you do that? She went bowling. She went dancing. She went partying. Mm-hmm. She was not stopped. Mm-hmm. For me, that's really inspiring. Can you imagine a 13-year-old? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
The thing about...
And I believe God allows certain things to happen for his own purposes. I don't think I would be the person I am today, able to do the things, able to have the resilience I have had to take a business through for 13 years and never give up. Yeah? Yeah, you learn that.
A victory is a story of learning how to beat the victim mentality and to just rise up from the ashes like a phoenix. Regardless of what you go through, you can become better, you can do better, and when you know better, you always do better. Hello everyone, welcome to the Let's Make Lemonade show with Sharon Ngugi. On today's episode, we're going to be interviewing an amazing and brilliant lady who's in the technology world. She's currently the CEO of Citech, Center for Innovation Technology. So I'm really hoping that you all will enjoy this episode. So welcome to the show, Joyce Cauri.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you so much for coming to my show. I'm super excited to have you around. So the people would want to know, who is Joyce Cauri?
Okay. My name is Joyce Cauri. I'm Kenyan. I'm actually a very proud Kenyan.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've done a lot of things in my life. I've been a teacher in high school. I've been a teacher in technical school. I've been a teacher in university. I've been a teacher in... Yeah, I've worked in Somalia for many years, and I love Somalia, and I miss being in Somalia. I'm one of those people who, since I was a child, I always had a side hustle. One time I discovered how to make marmalade. And we had this tree in the village that just used to bear all these lemons. So when we go shags, holidays, I would, make marmalade and then take it back to Mombasa where we lived, and I would sell that marmalade to my neighbors, my schoolmates, and it was exciting to have money, make money for myself. Yeah. All right, so then I went on. When I was in university, I started a business making cakes. Can you imagine somebody making cakes from a little cubie? I started making cakes. And many years down the road, in the 90s, I was a very successful, I was a known cake designer, decorator. Before there were so many designers, decorators. Yes, all the way until the end of the 90s, when now I picked on my other passions.
Okay. Yes. So tell us a bit about your current role as the CEO of Citech. Mm-hmm. How is that? How did that come about? What exactly does Citech do?
Okay, I told you that I'm passionate about businesses. I'm also very passionate about the youth. And I'm inspired when I see young people creating from nothing. All right? I've taught in high school. I have taught in technical school, I have taught in university, but I've also worked in development. I worked in Somalia for many years, and I loved being in Somalia. I still miss Somalia. I love those hot climates, And then I came back home, and then between my brother and I, we thought of starting a business that would impact young people. We are always saying there's no employment for the youth. And the truth of the matter is not that there's no employment, is that people don't train in the right skills. So we set up a company, it's called Center for Innovative Technology, and what we do is we equip young people with engineering, drawing, and detailing skills, all right? And we teach them also how to use the latest softwares. So we're very passionate about that. Unfortunately, my brother died a while back. Yes, but by God's grace, we've kept the company going. Yeah, and we're here today.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really great to meet you here. Yes.
That's really good.
Yes.
The thing you've said about the youth.
Yes.
Being a youth one time and learning how to do all these side hustles and all that. There's so many people who are watching this video today and they're thinking, I've studied, I've gone to school, I've done everything I can to make my life better, but I'm still in the same rut. As a young person, what would give you that drive to just do business, regardless of, you said you were a teacher, then you went into baking, then you went into, you keep evolving regardless. So what would you tell someone out there who's in a rut? Probably they went to school, they studied for something and they've not gotten a job opportunity till now. What would you tell them?
I would say just find your passion, all right? Mm-hmm. Actually, if you discover what your passion is, that's where your treasure is. Mm-hmm. And if you hang around there long enough, you will succeed. Mm-hmm. All right? The reason why I think our company has succeeded, with no funding from any bank, mm-hmm. all right? Just sheer commitment and focus is because of passion. I'm very passionate about what we do. I'm passionate about transforming Kenya through technology. I'm also passionate about the impact our training has on careers of young people. Yes, I've seen so many of my former students thriving in the marketplace. A lot of them self-employed. A lot of them start their side hustles when they are here. Yes, you find they are taking private jobs from engineers, drawing for engineers. So that, for me, makes all the difference. So what I would tell young people is find your passion. Yeah, I used to bake cakes. Yeah, I loved baking cakes since I was 5 years old. There used to be a program that used to come on VOK. That time we only had one station. And I think it used to start about 6 o'clock. So there was this lady, she used to bring a program called Kenya Kitchen. So when I was really little, that's what caught my interest in cakes. I just fell in love with baking. Yeah, and I continued baking most of my life until now I fell in love with other things. Yes, like what I do now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's that? I know you have many and thousands probably, but what's that one thing you're the most pride in your life this far?
Number one, when I look back, when I see my former students succeed, I meet a guy driving a big car or a lady engineer, successful from the skills we give them. I just get so much fulfillment when I see that. And and I just kind of feel that my life counted for something.
Now, the show is basically about making lemonade out of all the lemons that life has thrown at you. And I keep saying every single person gets so many lemons thrown. Every single day you're battling something different from the other day. So for you, what has been your lemonade story? What is that one thing that happened into your life and it threw you off balance?
I think for me, it was way back in 2011. I had my only child, Jan. She was called Jan. And you can imagine a single mother with your daughter. She's now 11. She was always tall for her age. And Jan had always wanted to be a model. all right? So one day, she goes to school, she's running, and then her knee starts hurting, all right? And then down the road, many visits to doctors, visits to physiotherapists, x-rays, whatever. A day came, it was on a Sunday. And I had my x-rays. I met the doctor somewhere in town because it was Sunday and he was going to church. So I met him outside his church, and he looked at those x-rays, and in 1 minute, his face just changed. And he told me that in all likelihood, my daughter has bone cancer at the knee. You know, that day, I don't even know how I got home, and I was with my daughter. And you know what she says? She tells me, Mom, no, nothing can happen to my leg. I want to be a model, Mom. Yeah? That day, I don't know how I got home with my baby, but that is the day when, you know, just my whole world just crashed. And let me tell you, you get a diagnosis that your child most likely has bone cancer. And you know, at that time and point in my life, I did not have a shilling to my name. You know those times when your life is completely out? Yeah, that's a day my world just turned dark. So that was the lowest moment of my life. Yes.
When you speak about cancer, it's over the news worldwide. We've been seeing that it's something that's been really growing, and it's rampant everywhere. And anytime anyone gets a diagnosis for cancer, you feel as if your world has come to an end.
Scary.
It's scary.
Yes.
There's so much stigma to that disease. And probably there's someone watching this video today and they're wondering, probably my daughter or myself, I've been diagnosed with this. How did you move past that point? Just the diagnosis itself.
Okay, all right. So for me, okay, of course, a lot of things happened until eventually her leg was amputated. We gave her all the treatments. Actually, God did a lot of miracles. You hear, I didn't have a coin to my name, but somehow God worked things. My daughter went to the best hospitals, the best doctors. She got all the care, the best care that anyone could get. Somehow, that's a story for another day. So, but eventually, after like 4 years, a day came and she died, and I buried her. All right. But let me say this: I have how have I dealt with all that? I've just looked at life and realized that bad things happen in life. Okay. And all you're supposed to do in life is just take each day as it is, okay? And yes, cancer is bad, but there are worse things, okay? And you know, bad things happen in life. And all there is for us to do is just be okay with them. Because what can you do? You know, in life, there's only what you can do, all right? So the rest, just be at peace, okay?
I want us to
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No problem. I want us to speak about mental health. Cancer in itself is a mentally destabilizing diagnosis.
Absolutely.
Let alone cancer alone. There's so many things that happen in our lives on a day-to-day basis that really make us question a lot about life, question about God, question about ourselves. What is your view about mental health? How can someone ensure that your mental health is in check, regardless of everything happening around you?
I can only talk about what has worked for me, because like for me, number one, I allow myself to feel whatever it is I'm feeling. I remember around that time when I was dealing with my baby's illness, there were times I would give myself permission to cry. I actually say, I'm going to cry for 2 hours. And then after that, I'm going to wash my face and I'll be fine. Okay? Me, I can tell you for a fact, crying has helped me. The other thing that has helped is if you feel you're in trouble, you're not coping, look for help. All right? I remember after my daughter's death, it took me a long time to be okay, but I looked for help whenever I felt I needed help. And also speaking up, okay? I went online. By the way, I was working in Somalia, and many times I would be alone in remote locations, but we had internet, all right? So where I couldn't go for counseling or anything, so I joined online support groups, and they helped because you learn that you're not the only one, okay? And then just call and talk to somebody, okay? Yeah. So just allow yourself to go through whatever it is you're going through, but also realize it's not the end of life. And my dad used to, okay, there's a saying in my language that says, shida haina mizizi. Let me direct translate. It says in my language, dena dore meri. Okay? You see, there's a plant that grows on bougainvillea. If you look around Nairobi, yeah, it's a parasite plant, all right? In my language, it's called dena, all right? But it has no roots, okay? So it actually has no roots. It means it will not be there forever, all right? So it's the same thing with whatever miserable, devastating, traumatic thing you're going through, it will not be there forever.
Yes. So I think that's really important, especially with the toxic masculinity we have nowadays, where men believe I'd rather die with my problems, especially the men in our society. They've been trained and they've been nurtured to know, you know what, mwanaume ni kuvumilia, as we always say. The truth is, everyone has a breaking point, and it's important to always know when you get to that point so that you can actually seek for help. So, Joyce, I'd want us to speak about if you were to go back to your 30th year, or you're turning 30, what would you tell your 30-year-old self?
Oh my God, that's a difficult question. Joyce, what would you tell your 30-year-old self? I think one thing I'll tell myself is just love yourself more. Yeah. Actually, you know, me, I'm the firstborn in my family. So I've spent most of my life looking after others, not just my siblings. Yeah, just looking after everybody. And many times I forget myself. Yes, yes.
So love yourself.
Yeah, I'd have loved myself more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. As we are concluding, we have spoken about your lemon story. Now we want to see how, after you went through what you went through with your brother and with your daughter, how did you make lemonade with all those lemons that were thrown in your way? And how can someone who's watching this video today be able to dust off all the ashes they've gone through and rise up like a phoenix?
Okay, number one, I talk to God, okay? And a couple of years after my daughter's death, fine, I had a good job, all right? And I asked myself, Joyce, why do you bother? Why are you waking up at 6 to be on the road, to be in the office by 8? A day just came and I realized I don't have a purpose, okay? So I had a conversation with God. I told him, you know what, God, I'm sitting in the house, because actually that, parents, if you're a parent out there, ebu check, yeah? If you really look closely, you'll see that the biggest motivation you have, what keeps you moving, pushing, working, striving, is actually your children. Now imagine suddenly they are gone, yeah? So you probably be like me, a day comes and you realize, why do I bother? So for me, when I got to that point, I had a conversation with God. I told him, God, please give me purpose. I need a reason to wake up, okay? And he did a lot of things, yeah? And a day, my brother came up with the idea of setting up this business, okay? And that gave me a purpose. All right? Now, being here, I realize how perfect God is in his ways. Like you cannot imagine. I lost one child. At any one time here at Citech, at any one time, every 3 months, I have about 30 new students. Okay? And so everything I've known about working with the youth, whatever I learned being a mother, of course I mother them. But whatever empowerment I did around my daughter as she was dealing with her illness, I empower. I just take that and I celebrate being with my students. And so when I see young people thrive, when I see young people get careers, create businesses, all right? It's amazing.
That's good. I want you to tell us one thing or something that Jan taught you, especially in her period of sickness, for the 4 years that you were being a caregiver is one of the hardest things that anyone has to go through. So what is that one thing that you'll always remember about Jan?
Jan, there's a day that came, and I had a phobia around that name. I could not be with that word cancer. I could not be with that word. But a day came. Can you imagine a 13-year-old telling you, look, I may have cancer, but I'm not cancer. All right? So I'm going to live my life. And Jan lived her life so fully. Nothing stopped her. And she had the most beautiful smile you'll ever see. All right? Yes, and I mean, she lived her life. No matter the cancer. Yes.
Wow.
She lived her life so fully. Can you imagine somebody with one leg and they are playing basketball in school? How do you do that? She went bowling. She went dancing. She went partying. She was not stopped. For me, that's really inspiring. Can you imagine a 13-year-old? Yeah? Yeah. She was empowered. Yeah.
Wow.
So I just say, whatever you're facing out there, okay? Yeah? You're not it.
It's powerful.
You are not it.
And that's good advice. Now, I would want you to speak to caregivers. How should a caregiver handle the whole situation, especially being in front of the person who's sick on a day-to-day basis? How should they handle that?
I think caregivers, a lot of caregivers are pretty good, but now the problem is the people around, like family. Do you know people don't know how to visit somebody sick in hospital? Actually, I think I should write a book. People really misbehave. Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah. Or people, you visit a patient in hospital and then you decide because there's a TV there, that's where you're going to spend your time waiting for the jam in Nairobi to clear. Okay? You really have to think of the needs of the sick person. All right? And you have to use your head and behave yourself. Yeah? And when somebody is, let's say somebody has whatever illness it is, yeah? Can you imagine? You come there and you drop your face when you see them. That person is already struggling with whatever it is they are dealing with. All right? All they need is to be empowered, not to be pitied. And you just need to empower them that everything is fine and there's a God in the universe and He's responsible for everything.
So thank you so much for coming to my show. I had such a beautiful time here and I'm so and I'm sure even the people out there had a lovely time. So as we conclude, I'd want you to look at the camera and speak to the people, give a last, just something to encourage them, even as we conclude, and one thing that they can remember you for in the Let's Make Lemonade show.
So I think the only thing I'd like to say is, this is a good life. And life is a gift. Life is a gift. I mean, look at the trouble God took to make this world so beautiful. What are you doing being miserable? What are you doing giving up? What are you doing wasting your life on social media? You know? You have so many gifts and talents and potential. Okay? Get up and be.